Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
3, 2, 1, and we are back. And we have a really fun topic for today. And it's fun because it is not our normal jib jab.
That's right.
It is absolutely not.
And we're learning this right along with you guys. We're going to try and lead the way and help you really utilize one of these new AI tools.
Now, artificial intelligence is something everyone's been talking about forever. Everyone's been fearful of it, or at least people wanting you to be fearful of it have been fearful of it. And we've always been intrigued by artificial intelligence because, frankly, we're lazy.
That's right. That's what it gets down to.
And we like the idea that artificial intelligence can basically make it so that we can essentially focus more on what we like to do and more on and less on the things that, frankly, we could delegate, provided we had something we trusted that we could actually delegate to.
Sure.
And I'm going to give you a really good example. We're about to share with you 25 points on how ChatGPT will help the real estate industry or what effect it'll have, good or bad. And every single one of these points was written by ChatGPT. So all of the points we're about to share with you, a couple of them we had to go in there and massage, but for the most part, we agreed with all of them. And we're going to explain to you how it works and really how easy it is for you to use. All of these next 25 points were artificial intelligence created content. We did not create it. Now, when we go through these points, I want you to think about, we're going to use it, read the results exactly the way ChatGPT outputted the results to us. Now, here's how it works. We put into ChatGPT a description of what we wanted to do. 25 points on how ChatGPT is going to affect the real estate industry. We didn't put bias in there as affect positive or affect negative. We just wanted to know what ChatGPT, our future rulers, what it would tell us what's going to happen with the real estate industry. Oh, and I should say on an aside, I also did another test on this, and I was asking ChatGPT what effect that AI chat and ChatGPT would have on realtors. In other words, will there be any time in the future that the AI anticipates agents won't be relevant? And the answer was it was absolutely not. It is actually anticipating, and what it was saying was that real estate agents will be able to spend more time having high quality interactions with their clients and frankly in doing lead generation and less time doing the busy work of real estate. So it seems to me that our future rulers actually don't have it out for us.
They have our backs.
All right. So the first point that ChatGPT told us about the future of agents and how artificial intelligence chat, what a positive effect in this case will have on the industry. Julie, can you read it? It reads down.
Yes. Point number 1 is that ChatGPT can provide realtors with virtual assistance by answering frequently asked questions about properties, neighborhoods, and the buying and selling process.
Now, here's how this is going to work. ChatGPT, if I remember correctly, is owned by a company, is developed by a company called OpenAI. Open source software is just like it sounds. It's software that any app developer can get their hands on to create an overriding app. So in other words, like some of you guys know maybe what WordPress is, and if you go to Google and you put in WordPress, real estate websites, luxury homes, you're going to see all of these themes that are going to be spit out from people around the world who've developed really beautiful looking websites that we're using open source software code from WordPress. Now, you don't need to know a single word of what I just said other than this. They made it open source. It's not proprietary. And think about Apple, for example. Apple's software was proprietary, not open source. That's the reason that you always have to go back to Apple every time you want to, it's an app created using Apple's what's it called? Operating system, yep. All the rest of it. But that isn't what ChatGPT is doing. They created software, or they created a platform that's going to allow millions and millions of entrepreneurs to create apps or software that's going to run using the ChatGPT as its foundational architecture. Hopefully that conceptually makes sense. The first rung of software that's going to be developed, and we researched this as much as we could, it's going to focus on customer service. So your customer service experience now, like on our website, you can go there and you can have a chat. And the first few chats, like 2 or 3 responses, are essentially AI, not very sophisticated, frankly. And then it flips it over to our customer service or our sales team, depending on what questions you have. You've all had experiences like that. And it's kind of obvious, I think. And you've had experiences. Now, what if it was indistinguishable? What if you're having a conversation with somebody virtually, now textually? Now I'm about to blow your minds on another idea. But textually, you're having this back and forth, and you cannot tell it's not a human. You cannot tell that it's not another human that's interacting with you. Having conversations that maybe are occasionally a little off topic, but you can design, and people will design. You hear people talking about the amazing customer service at Zappos, because when you called in to order shoes, the people that were there were not penalized for having conversations about the weather, the dogs, football scores. Right. And so people became very, it became a community, really.
Sure, attached.
Well, you could maybe design a customer service ChatGPT based program that's going to have that similar experience. So when someone's doing business with you, they're going to be able to have that same experience. That takes everything to the next level. Prediction number 2, which is this one.
Yes, number 2, ChatGPT can assist in lead generation. Ooh, you guys like hearing that, don't you?
I do, don't you?
Absolutely. Can assist in lead generation by responding to online inquiries and qualifying potential buyers and sellers. That's very exciting.
Now, here's the reason this is really exciting, because most of you aren't very good at pre-qualifying your leads. Most of you are winging it. Most of you ask a few cursory information or questions and you toss them into a CRM.
Or you miss the lead entirely, or you take too long to follow up on it.
Right. Now, what if all of a sudden you had AI working for you that acted as your best lead pre-qualifier lead screener ever?
Did it immediately.
And did it immediately, right? It's actually, maybe ChatGPT is going to use Harris rules as the foundation for how to create it. Well, it's because one of our rules is furiously fast lead follow-up. Mm-hmm. How long do you take to get to a lead? How long, and when you get to that lead, are you actually pre-qualifying them? A buyer shows up in your life, are you actually asking questions to determine whether they're also a seller? Well, you can have your chat app do that for you. Think about that for a second. If you had a software program that was actually doing the pre-qualifying at a high level. Now, I'm going to tell you what's really exciting. Actually, I'm going to hold off what's really exciting until we get to the end. So point number 3.
Okay, next point is ChatGPT can help realtors create personalized and automated email and text message campaigns to stay in touch with clients.
Now, that's what Chat said would be one of the ways that Chat will be, or AI will be able to use to help agents. And that makes sense. But you guys, if you use Grammarly,
yes,
Grammarly is AI, and Grammarly is not just doing the grammatical and things like that, corrections. It's also learning how you're writing. It's learning how you're writing and everyone else is writing. And it is you can, if you write in a particular very professional and stern style, it will recognize that and it'll help you to cater your writing so that it feeds off like that versus, say, super friendly. Well, ChatGPT is going to be able to do the same thing, but here's the difference. It's going to be able to do the writing for you. Again, I was experimenting. Julie mostly, we do a ton of writing. Like, Julie she writes for what? National Association of Realtors.
Inman, Housing Wire, and all of their different assets that, migrate. And of course, all of our podcast stuff and different things.
Tons.
Yes.
And you spend how many hours realistically a week writing?
I don't know, probably, depending on what it is, 10 to 20.
Okay,
probably.
so you've just started experimenting with ChatGPT.
Yeah,
and
it's already learning me and making my writing better.
And we are sampling with different articles that we're going to be writing for, say, Housing Wire, with the concepts that you've already had approved by the editor, Tracy, or we know that she's going to want. And we've been putting those concepts in there. So here would be an example, guys. Go to ChatGPT and put in, write 10 points on, for example, real estate lead generation in a seller's market on a rainy Wednesday, something like that. I mean, you guys can make it as, precise or as kind of, weird as possible. The art and the science, by the way, is knowing how to request what to put into the window saying what you want.
What to give it to work with, basically.
Right. That's the art and the science. And the better you get at that, the better it's going to be. So here's another one. So let's say, for example, write 5 points on why it's important to have your home priced correctly in this market in the style of Tim and Julie Harris and the Buddha. Whatever, right? And then it's going to search I believe the data collection ended in 2021, I believe, but it's going to go and do all the data sources that it could get access to. It's going to read everything that we've ever written, everything that the Buddha's ever written. And it's actually going to churn out content that is taking those two writing styles and producing original content. None of the content that ChatGPT is churning out for you, unless you're asking for specific information from, say, for example, Yelp. If you're saying, what are the top 5 Yelp reviews on this particular restaurant, it's then going to tell you what the actual reviews are. It's not just going to do a rehash or re-engineering what the reviews are. That is probably copywritten, who knows? But it's going to produce for you original content. There are people right now that are using AI to write screenplays, to write books, to write original music. You guys have heard of AI creating original art, of which some is absolutely gorgeous. I wanted to show Zoe what different forms of code looked like, right? Because, you and I learned to code when we were kids, and I don't even remember what form of code it was.
She can take it after school starting now.
Well, right, but you know what I'm saying. So I showed her all the different forms of code. She wanted to know what code some of her video games, or she was sort of interested in understanding how things work. And so I asked ChatGPT to show me a sample of the code that Roadblocks is written on. And it spit out like 5 or 6 lines, of which looks like a bunch of gobbledygook. But then then I showed her, so this little phrase here, this line of code might cause this to happen. And I could see her little brain starting to put together the ideas of how it works. Well, ChatGPT, if you were wanting to write code, say, for example, you're making a website, and let's say you want the website to have this particular functionality. You can actually go to ChatGPT and you can ask it to produce the code for you. This is if you're a coder that would provide that functionality. Or if you're a coder, you can upload or drop your code into ChatGPT and have it check your codes for any errors. Julie and I were playing with the idea of writing a new Harris Rules book. Well, that's a hell of a big effort. It's going to take 2 years for us to do it. But what if we were, instead of actually laboriously going through the entire process, for every chapter that we come up with, take the ideas from the overarching themes from those particular chapters, and then we were to tell ChatGPT what we wanted the chapters to be on, and then tell ChatGPT to say, for example, write us 3 paragraphs that are based on these particular keywords in Tim and Julie Harris's writing style, because it would have consumed Harris Rules and all of our content we put on the internet over the past 25 years.
It theoretically could learn, let's say, our top 10 podcasts and turn them into 10 chapters, for example.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get to the sort of the audio version of AI in a second. But let's get to the next prediction.
Okay, so for example, you kind of were talking about this. ChatGPT can be integrated into real estate websites to provide instant answers to user queries and improve their experience on the website. You were talking about like a customer service type of thing.
Well, we use Zendesk now. So if an agent in Premier Coaching has a question, they can go to Zendesk. We call it 24 hours coaching on demand, right? And we've had it there for, 5 or 6 years. And so agents can go there and they can put in questions to whatever issue that they're having, and chances are it's already answered.
Yes.
That's an okay interface. The interface that this is going to provide, and I promise you guys, the second it's available, we're going to do it, is you're going to be able to go there and you're going to be able to have a real live interaction with a AI coach who is going to use all the content, the thousands and thousands of hours of content we've produced, that, really probably millions of hours of podcasting and other things we've done over the years. It's going to take all of that. And when you have a question, how do I get a price reduction? Or what is this? What is this? What is the other thing? You're going to be able to have a live back and forth coaching session, exactly as if, probably 98% as if you were having direct interaction with head coach Julie Harris.
And instantly too, by the way.
And that means for your, more practical sense, in your real estate website, same thing. Now, we left yesterday's podcast suggesting that all of you do start getting in the habit of creating short YouTube videos, creating content yourselves. Why? More than ever now, it's because chat and all these other forms of AI are going to pull from the internet the virtual you, so you can create essentially an AI assistant.
So what you're saying is the more it has to pull from, the more authentic, the more accurate to you it will become. Yeah. So somebody that only has maybe 0 to 3 videos out there, that's going to be kind of a limited intelligence that it can pull from versus if you put 30 or 300 out there.
It's going to be obvious that it's AI.
Yes.
It's going to be written very generically and sterilely versus if it does have, like Julie just said, it can go out and watch and listen to your YouTube videos and it knows how you speak and all of that. I'm going to go ahead and talk about that now. And here's the other thing that's starting to form, and this is going to blow your mind. It certainly does us. There already are in development. Are you ready for it, listeners? AI that's going to be able to create an indistinguishable version of you talking.
An avatar, basically.
An avatar. Now, oh my gosh, right? We have been replaced. No, we have been enhanced. Go to Google right now and search for, here are your keywords, Steve Jobs, Joe Rogan, podcast interview, AI. And you're going to hear Joe Rogan interviewing Steve Jobs, and you're going to hear a back and forth that lasts like over an hour of them having this conversation that is 100% created by AI. Joe never interviewed Steve ever. They completely and totally manufactured from information that it found on the internet. So it found Joe's voice interviewing a billion different people. It found Steve Jobs' voice being interviewed by a billion different people and speaking about a billion different topics. And it's taking all of that and it's understanding what the question is. It's understanding what type of answer it should produce. It's understanding what the tonality in the voice should be.
And reproducing their voices authentically, right?
Exactly.
But why was that so indistinguishable in that case is because Joe Rogan has an endless supply of past podcasts. He has a lot of content to pull from. And Steve Jobs was interviewed many different times and also wrote a lot. And, there's a lot of breadcrumbs that AI can follow to assemble something that's super authentic. I mean, I listened to that, especially Joe's voice. I couldn't tell the difference.
I couldn't tell the difference either. What really surprised me wasn't just that you couldn't tell the difference. What really surprised me is that the speaking
the style.
What's the word? The rap, the
cadence,
the cadence.
tonality,
thank you, and the tonality.
Like
was indistinguishable.
Yes.
It wasn't just, hello, this is Joe Rogan, and I'm interviewing
It didn't sound
Steve.
like a computer.
It was unbelievable. There was a guy, Julie and I were sitting outside and we were listening to it, and there was a guy one table over that was listening in. And I'm sure he didn't know it was AI that we were listening to.
Yeah.
But this is really, this is what's going to happen. Now, we ended yesterday's show by saying you should be creating YouTube short videos. This is the real reason why. Because when you create a YouTube short video, not only is it 2 minutes of content, and again, we teach you how to do this in Premier Coaching, but that's designed obviously to provide information and generate a lead for you. But whether you know it or not, YouTube transcribes every word that's on that that video. You can do that for every video. You can just hit this one, for example. You can go and hit transcribe, and it's going to show you I would say, very good transcription of everything that's said on every video on YouTube. GPT or whatever AI chat's going to be out there combing for that information is going to find your content, and it's now you're not just going to have a textual back and forth with customers. You're going to have a real voice-to-voice conversation. Now, here's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. What if it's the seller's virtual self, AI-based self, having a search conversation with your, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that funny?
And if it's really good, how are you going to know?
I mean, we're talking about how to basically professionalize being lazy as a real estate professional, or in our case,
enable your AI.
Enable your AI. But what if sellers and buyers start deciding the same thing? You know what? I don't want to interview agents. I'm going to send my AI out to choose the best one.
Well, I mean, this is the new frontier, isn't it?
But it is.
But of our first few points here, from a real estate professional standpoint, what I'm thinking of is things like, agents are tempted, and some of them do hire virtual assistants, like actual human virtual assistants. Some of these things, like this next point, ChatGPT can be used to generate automated reports on property listings, market trends, other data that can help agents make informed decisions, help your buyers and sellers make informed decisions.
That was point 5, right?
Yes. And so how much of that are you as a real estate professional not doing simply because you don't have the time or the impetus to get to it? This is essentially an assistant on many different ways. I was thinking when you and I started looking at this from an agent standpoint, what about using this to write a really kick-ass home brochure description?
Oh, yeah.
So you can type in what you normally would do, which has become kind of meaningless and vanilla, open an area floor plan. Like everybody says that. It doesn't mean anything anymore. But if you give it enough keywords about your subject property, I guarantee you it's going to write a beautiful home brochure description or an MLS description. There's so many different ways you can use this just simply as an efficiency tool.
Well, an efficiency tool right now that you guys are trying to use, you're delegating to live humans, which you cannot control the results from it. I mean,
Or you're not doing it at all because you don't want to deal with it.
a lot of teams are just elaborate adult daycares at the end of the day. And so what you're going to see is a lot of the functionality that's usually, assigned to a buyer's agent, let's say, or somebody whose sole job is to be a lead pre-qualifier. They're not going to be anywhere near as efficient as ChatGPT. If you have, 10 buyer's agents, you know as well as I do, good days, bad days. Sometimes they follow with people, sometimes they don't. Okay, so I'm going to hire someone that's going to intake all their leads. Well, that person's going to be busy. They're going to have good days and bad days. So I'm going to hire more of them. Same thing. That's the reason ultimately real estate teams have a very hard time scaling, because it's difficult to, if not impossible, to scale a personal services business, not with chat. So the vision that we have for future real estate teams is you're going to see agents act as basically conductors. Imagine a conductor that's conducting an orchestra, and sometimes he's focused on the flutes, sometimes he's focused on the different instruments, woodwinds and all of that. So that's what the future of a business owner is going to be, most likely utilizing chat as the players in the orchestra.
Yeah, that's very well put. And I think probably AI would be able to take all of those different things, put that into an easy to read dashboard, and allow you to see what's happening easily.
Now, ultimately, what does that lead you doing? You're going to have to then be able to generate the lead to get the lead to be inside your what would it be? An orchestra hall, right? So you have the opportunity to have that person be one of your customers. But we already told you guys, there's no doubt that indistinguishable textual exchanges with AI is going to happen this year, 100% for sure. It's already happening. That's going to essentially supplement or replace, in a lot of cases, a lot of the high-touch initial conversations in customer service. Then you're going to have, maybe this year, you're going to have the ability to have real voice-to-voice conversations using your AI. But again, the AI is going to have the more content it has to pull from, the more powerful your AI version of yourself is going to be. The next what we believe is going to happen, and again, we're definitely watching out for this, is you're going to see, yes, you guessed it, people have been calling it deep fakes. I've seen some videos that are indistinguishable, videos that are using you as a virtual version of you with your AI video, your AI voice, saying something that the AI wrote. You have completely created an actual honest-to-God version of yourself that could start doing a lot of the initial selling. That means you can be presenting to, say, for example, you want to go and talk to 10 different sellers today, and you can have you delivering your high level coaching you learn from our coaching program, sales presentations to 10, 20, 100 different sellers simultaneously. The only way this is going to work for you at a high level is if you do have a deep well of content for the chat to be able to pull from to create this virtual version of you. This is the reason that, in our opinion, artificial intelligence used in this way will eviscerate everything that's been the most common form of search that we've been all used to, which is Google. Google, when you do a search, it's going to then send you up a bunch of links, and then you have to click on whichever link it forever
sample them.
Right,
Yeah.
and then you go to that website, and then you have to hope that whatever website it was that it sent you to has that content that you want. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. That isn't how chat works. What chat works is it actually does it for you completely. There's no clicking around and hoping and praying. It actually outputs the actual content. Or in the case of how we think it's going to have the most positive effect in the real estate industry, it is going to make the most important initial conversations that have to be done at a high level to get you the most results done consistently at high levels so you can get results, which will finally allow real estate teams to truly scale.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's so many points here. So tell me where you want me to go. But the next one is that ChatGPT can help realtors with scheduling property viewings and keeping track of appointments. A scheduling assistant that's efficient. How about that? ChatGPT can provide realtors with a virtual personal assistant that can help with tasks like making phone calls, sending emails, and I have to scan down and managing their calendar.
So that was point number. We need to remember to do the point 7 or 6 and 7. Now these were all points. No, was that 7 and 8? It's all jumbled.
7 goes with that. 8 goes with that.
Okay.
It's confusing.
Yeah, it is. So these are all points that Chat churned out for us. ChatGPT churned out for us. We're reading you the exact points that it's telling Julie's reading the exact output from the chat AI, and then we're obviously, embellishing a little bit too on the points.
That's right. So number 8 is what I just alluded to. ChatGPT can assist agents in preparing property listings by providing helpful descriptions, showcasing features and advantages of the property. Next point is number 9. ChatGPT can aid in improving customer service by providing quick and accurate responses to clients' inquiries and concerns. Next one, and you have to help me with where it's going there. The next point is number 10. ChatGPT can help agents with the paperwork and document management. Oh, transaction coordination. It can help organize, store, and track relevant documents and transactions in real time.
Okay, so transaction coordinators, you've met your maker. I mean, that's in essence what's going on.
Absolutely.
And so what's going to happen again? This is the exact application of AI that we were all hoping for, so that it could be done more efficiently. By more efficiently, within the realm of more efficient, is also a hell of a lot less money.
Yes, you're going to save time, you're going to save money. It's going to be more efficient. Your clients are going to be taken after faster. Your lead follow-up will be faster. All of these different applications. And I think you found the rest of.
Yeah, I did, but I think maybe we've given them enough.
We've given you a sampling of this. This is early days, and I think it's really going to migrate into a super hyper efficiency tool, because if you think about the points that we've gone over, we talked a little bit about transaction management, a lot about customer service, about furiously fast lead follow-up. But I think what you said a few minutes ago is critical, which is all roads lead back to generating the lead in the first place, because you're still going to have to be part of that, the lead generation, so that it has something to follow up on, so that it's got some scripts to use, the pre-qualification, the transaction coordination, setting up showings, doing maybe a virtual listing, an AI avatar listing presentation, and to your point also, the more it can sample you, the more authentic it's going to be. Because I can see what could happen is if it doesn't have enough of you to really be you, and then you show up in real life, IRL, as Zoe says.
But you won't, because your AI version of yourself will be too droll,
be good.
And the consumer won't like it versus somebody else who's more animated because they had more input.
You're still going to have your skill on.
Right. And so this is what's happening right now. This is what's happening technologically that's nobody's talking about. You have the emergence, the unbelievably fast emergence of game-changing opportunities that we've never seen in the real estate industry, and probably we've never experienced in our adult lives from a technological perspective. You have the complete displacement of what has been major media. I think everyone will agree that not too many people are paying that much attention, as much as they used to, for example, to TV commercials, right? For example,
Sure.
TV commercials were had their asses handed to it by, in essence, social media, right? Now, social media is rapidly changing. You're going to see YouTube unquestionably become the most dominant platform for social media. So if you can only focus on one thing, if you want to build a social media presence, which all of you should, but make sure you don't think that that's a short-term project, that's long-term. You definitely want to be doing YouTube shorts, YouTube short videos, 2 minutes or less. You create the short, you load it up to TikTok, assuming TikTok stays legal in the United States. Then you tell TikTok to then load it up to Instagram, and Instagram then saves it to YouTube, or some order like that. And then one little 2-minute piece of content has been syndicated across 3 or 4 different platforms. Those little tiny videos of you talking about the local area are going to be what ChatGPT is going to lean into for all the reasons, for voice reasons, for textual reasons, for audio reasons, for visual reasons. Those are the things that you need to be working towards. Where would you prioritize this in your day-to-day real estate practice? After you've done your proactive lead generation. But we now are seeing the advent of essentially, I'm not going to say all the catch terms like Web 3.0, but we are seeing the ability for agents now to completely reshuffle the deck. If you just got into real estate in the last really 20 years practically, and you were trying to use SEO to get your website to have any sort of dominant position on the first page, assuming you had, you're in a larger real estate market, good luck. Those wars have long since been lost, and for the most part, the major portals have won. But not now, and the most major brokerages. But not now. Now what you're seeing is that like we talked about yesterday, Google is putting preferences on short videos specifically from YouTube. You on your mobile do a search for homes for sale, or not. I wouldn't do homes for sale. Do home values in your town or something like that. Think like a seller, and you're going to see in most markets the results it's turning out are going to be video based primarily from YouTube short videos. And if you were smart enough to build a huge amount of content over time around those keywords, that means you're going to start having, top page placement for your short videos. Google, and all SEO works this way, gives preference to videos that have been up the longest, that have the most views, and all the rest of it. And that also takes time. Now you enter in chat. Now you enter in, oh my gosh, you now have to you decide you're going to start creating 10 short videos per day. That's insane, right? Nope. Because now you got an AI that will do it for you. You have AI that will be able to go out and decide what the 10 points are going to be. You need to tell the open source to write an outline for a 2-minute video on the home values in, let's say New Albany, Ohio, from 1 million to 1.5 million, whatever words you put in, and it's going to create 5 points. Now you're going to tell it, create an audio around explaining each of those points in the voice, in my voice, and it's going to create it. And then
it does it instantly. You don't have to wait around for it to process.
Right. It's going to be you talking about that. Well, now you have a short podcast. Okay, now you want to make that short podcast into a video. Well, it's going to now be able to create a short video. All you're going to do is have to come up. Remember, you're the conductor. You're going to have to come up with the overarching ideas. And all these people that are making these, these apps, as they like to call them, right, on top of the open source AI chat software that's been created, you're going to see an emergence of people agents in all industries that you've never heard of before, but they were early adopters in using this technology and were able to exploit it at a high level quickly. Because the way you win in the social media business ultimately is a huge amount of content. The way you win going forward, and when you have everything being enhanced by artificial intelligence, is, guess what? A huge amount of content. The way you discipline yourself around it is the way we coach you to do it in Premier Coaching. So this is something that's very exciting because it opens the door for all of you to take your business to the next level, or frankly, if you're new in real estate, for you to create something that is very defensible for decades. And that's exciting as hell to me.
I know. It's really cool stuff.
Imagine if you and I are to get back in business. You and I are, in our early 20s again, and it's now.
Right.
Can you imagine? It's insane.
So much more exciting.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you the other thing that all of you guys should seriously be doing. If you're not moving towards joining eXp Realty, if you're not around in an environment where people are having open conversations like this on a regular basis, and the brokerage isn't embracing the opportunities in technology like we are at eXp Realty, then you need to really question how serious you are about your future in real estate. One of the best decisions that Julie and I made was our alignment in eXp Realty. And about 5 days from now, we're going to be in the New York Stock Exchange, and we're going to be ringing the bell for EXPI. It's a great honor. Glenn Sanford invited Julie and I to attend. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to do a fair amount of press about that, as you can imagine. But guys, EXP is the future for the future of real estate. And if you're not part of that future, then you must not be serious about real estate. There's no other way to say it. We would love the opportunity to earn the right to be your eXp Realty sponsor. And if you're ready to move forward and move up to eXp Realty, text me directly at 512-758-0206, 512-758-0206, and let's have a conversation about you joining Julie and I at eXp Realty. If you're just getting started and you want to learn more about eXp, that's great too. Just text the letters EXP to 47372, and we'll text you back a link to our website, which is called Libertas. It's our eXp Realty group. And you can learn about, frankly, the reason why thousands of agents are joining Julie and I every single year at eXp Realty. So just text the letter EXP to 47372. Remember, when texting, message and data rates may apply. If this podcast didn't give you reasons to be excited and to be motivated, if it didn't give you reasons to believe, to understand that because of this market, we have, you know what we should have talked about?
What?
You and I were predicting when COVID hit that there would be a renaissance.
Well, this is evidence of that.
This is the renaissance that Julie and I, you guys have been listening to us for a long time. Julie and I did research, and we have discovered that during all the greatest, plagues and whatnot, following the plague and whatnot, there was always a renaissance.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you could feel it back then when we were all in lockdown. and we were looking at all these things. And, it'll be very interesting historically to look back at the brain power that was concentrated because nobody was going to the office building.
Julie, look at the emergence of all these great podcasts that we listen to that started because people
Many
were
of
bored because being locked in.
I think something like the top 10 worldwide were born during COVID.
All In was started during COVID because the guys didn't, and now it's the number one business podcast in the world.
Right.
Our podcast went to the next level. I mean, this podcast is probably getting close to 500,000 downloads per month now.
Amazing.
I mean, it is amazing. It's because people are finding us and other, voices on the new media like podcasting because our voices and what we're saying are, for the most part, I think more realistic about what people are actually experiencing. The media and all these other people around the world are wanting everyone to believe that tomorrow is going to be worse than today. And again, we've talked about that all the time on the show. Why is it that people say it? Why is it that people are attracted to it? Because they wouldn't say it if people weren't attracted to it. And we've more or less given up trying to figure out the deeply rooted sort of screwed up psychology of that.
It's just a lazy enabler.
Yeah, exactly. So we are in alignment with all the other people that are part of new media, including all of you, because you're listening to this podcast right now, who are going to be part of this renaissance, be part of this emergence of all these amazing things like AI. Don't be scared of it. Don't be intimidated. AI is never going to open up a lockbox. AI is never going to basically, show a house. AI is not going to help people. You're not going to have a robot, though this would be badass, right? Send a robot to go on a listing presentation for you.
That would be very cool.
Now that would be very cool. Okay, now if anyone knows about that, let us know.
Exactly.
In the meantime, you guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow. And thank you for keeping this number one listened to daily podcast for real estate professionals in at least the United States. Have a fantastic day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.